Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be obviously talking a little bit more about the Harry and Meghan situation and Harry's court case, some of the things that come up within that court case. And as always, I give you a psychological breakdown of the behavior and why I think these things are happening. And yes, I will be doing another video on Wednesday where I will be discussing what I've been saying, and I want to say I called it here first, but I have been saying for a very long time that these two are not together. And it seems that the rumours are now starting to publicly circulate. So yeah, I'm going to be discussing that on the video on Wednesday. So make sure that you have your notification bell turned on so you don't miss these uploads, because I do still see comments where people go, oh, I'm so glad you're back, as if I've been gone for a long time. And it's like, I've been here. Hello, I've been here. So I think some of you are not getting the notifications of my videos. So yeah, please go in and check that, because YouTube likes to play silly buggers and it likes to unsubscribe people. It likes to just, I don't know, just not give you notifications of when I do videos. So yeah, so if you want to join me in this video, then grab your drink of choice, whether it be tea, whether it be coffee, and you can fast forward this bit for those of you who moan about it. You can do what I do and drink my lovely cherries and berries, which you can get from most supermarkets over here in the UK, and there are alternatives in the States, and I think in other places in the world. So you can create your own little concoction, or maybe you'd like to add a little something to that drink of choice. As it's beautiful weather, you might be sitting in your garden, and also, as my flag says behind me, which you can't see, but it says 5 o'clock somewhere. So grab your drink and let's dive right in. So I want to give a little shout out to a lovely subscriber who sent me these beautiful, I don't know if you can see, they're like honeycomb with a little bee earrings. I've never seen anything like this. I think they're just really different. And yeah, she sent me these. So thank you so much. You know who you are, because I know a lot of you don't, that send me things, you don't like to be mentioned on the channel, and that's absolutely fine, but I'm always happy to promote. If you are a struggling business, then, you know, please, yeah, send your stuff or send me your information and I'll happily promote you on here. So Harry's court case, which by now, I know I'm late to the party, but I kind of like to let the dust settle a bit before I do a video on it, because I like to get all of the information and the facts, and, you know, and I kind of read things, and I tend to go with my gut instinct. I've learned over the years to trust my instincts. Now, I can honestly say that not all the time I've listened to them, but when something has happened, I can guarantee you that my gut instinct was spot on. And so I've learned over the years to really hone that and try to really kind of listen to it, what my gut's telling me, my intuition. So Harry obviously lost his court case, and obviously everything has been circulated around that. And I wanted to kind of talk about why I think that Harry wanted this security. I think, you know, going for the IPP status. And I don't really believe it was just about security. I don't believe that Harry necessarily feels he's in any kind of danger, because if he did, he wouldn't have said the things that he said. He wouldn't be doing the things that he's done. His actions do not align with what he's saying. And of course, we've had the ongoing court case as well, with his talking about the leaking of information. So I want to talk about this as well. And lo and behold, who pops up but their flying monkey, Omid Scobie. And he talks about that he remembers 20 years ago there was a conversation, and he overheard Piers Morgan talking about listening to listening in on phone conversations. He remembers this, but doesn't remember going and having drinks with Harry, because he openly states, I've never socialized with Harry. Doesn't remember that Harry and Meghan had some influence on his book Funding Freebies. Doesn't remember that, but can remember a conversation that he had 20 odd years ago, or a conversation he overheard, throwing Piers Morgan under the bus. Now, my theory is that Meghan has got no problem lying in a court of law. We already know she's done it, and she's got away with it. And I believe that the credibility of the courts in the UK, especially when you're dealing with a very high profile person like Harry, and then some other celebrities are involved in this as well. I think Elton John is one of them. I think it's almost as if they have this assurance that nothing can be proved. So if he talks about something that happened 20 odd years ago, it's almost like, but how can you kind of prove that? Because it's kind of his word against somebody else's, Piers Morgan. And what I believe is, if you remember, Piers Morgan was one of the first people to openly criticize Harry and Meghan publicly as a journalist. And he was the one that come out and said that he did not believe her story regarding feeling suicidal or not wanting to carry on when she was allegedly pregnant. And again, the media bypassed this, hang on a minute, you're allegedly pregnant and you're wanting to take your life and the life of your unborn child. But everyone was picking up on the fact that, oh, poor Meghan, this was how she was feeling. And it's very difficult to argue that, because it's somebody's feelings. That is, in a way, you're basically saying you're a liar, which is what Piers Morgan come out and said. Now, we all know, and we've spoken about here in length, about how narcissists behave and how they will utilise and manipulate. And I do believe that this was said as a threat. But what perfect way to get back at Piers Morgan. And we've always said, well, I've said, and you all agree, that Meghan Markle has utilised her podcast, utilised the various interviews that she's done to air her grievances. It's like she has a score sheet, kind of like, who has gone against me? How can I attack them? And narcissists are very methodical. They don't instantly react in the moment, but they literally kind of go, right, I've got your name. I'm just going to collect information. They are masters at manipulation. Now, I'm not saying they're always good at it, and I'm not saying they can't get called out on things, but they do. If they have got you in their sights where they want to enact revenge, they will do whatever it takes to do it. And that means doing things unlawfully, illegally, whatever it takes. There is no shame. They don't care. And I think this is part of it. I think it's interesting how it's Omid Scobie that comes in and says this, who is their flying monkey. Now, a lot of things are coming out in regards to this. Now, I think it's interesting because there's also been a journalist that's spoken out, and I think she's actually got a court case. I'm not going to mention her name just in case I've got this wrong, but there is apparently somebody that's thinking of suing Harry and Meghan, or she is suing Harry and Meghan, because she was brought into their mock-series. But she's openly stated that the royal family were a tight ship. You could get information on pretty much most celebrities, but the royal family were a tight ship until Meghan come along. Now, Meghan has always been known for leaking things to the press because she's so desperate to be famous and desperate to be an A-lister. So she would literally go to the opening of an envelope if it meant that she would be mixing with the elite. And And it's interesting that she comes along and all of a sudden there are these leaks from the royal family. And so I'm then starting to think, which I'm sure a lot of you are, that she has been the leak. She has been the one that has, what I think, has said to Harry, oh, it's your family. Your family are leaking things about you. Your family are saying things to push you out. But I actually think it's her. I think that she has been part of the leak, the big problem. Because it's interesting that there wasn't anything until she come along. And one of the things that have come up is also that Harry has his email to, obviously, Jason Naff has come out in where he's openly said that there were communications between Jason and Carolyn Duran and Omid Scobie in regards to their book. And there was, I think, interviews that were looking to be set up. But Harry openly says, well, we need to make it seem that we, in a way, we had nothing to do with it, that we can deny this. So Harry is already showing that he's got this very sneaky side of him. And let's not forget that phone conversation that was had by him and a pretend Greta Thunberg, and I think Greta Thunberg's father, where he also leaks some things. He says to them, oh, I know how to manipulate the system. I know how to do that. So he's quite happy to talk about people and talk about things. I mean, we've seen his interviews recently. But then one of the things that have come out is an email where he sent an email. And in this email, he says, you know, we want this kind of all sort of sorted before the wedding and the baby. Now, I've looked at this email and there's been, and I've obviously looked at the what people have been saying. And a few people have said, oh, he's talking about, because Prince Louis was born in, I believe, is it April? Well, he was born in 2018, so around this sort of time. So was he talking about somebody else's child? So if you look at this, either way, because obviously then the other thing has come out is that that Meghan was pregnant, because this is going with the rule of thumb that Meghan was actually pregnant. And I've seen all this. I've seen so many people coming out and saying, oh, well, she was obviously pregnant. That's why they rushed the wedding. And I know that there are still people, even on my channel, that believe that she carried those children. And the one thing, and I do wish, and I think, I understand why people don't always watch all of the videos, but I do wish, because it's very frustrating as a creator where I have to say, go back and watch my other videos. I explain the weight gain. And I feel like I have to reiterate that because it's the one common theme that comes through with anyone that believes she was pregnant, that says, but there was weight gain. And I have to say this again, she was an actress. She has been in the industry since her childhood. She understands and knows how to gain weight very quickly. There are actresses all over the world that have created a role where they look like they're pregnant. And it's not just been the moon bump, they've created some weight gain. They know how to do this because they also know how to drop weight very quickly. Classic example, look at Bridget Jones, where she was pregnant. She wasn't pregnant, but she acted pregnant when she had to gain lots of weight to play the role of Bridget Jones. Then she had to drop weight very quickly for another role that she did. This has been going on for years. If you don't think that she is capable of researching, and I have to say, we're not thinking as a normal person here, we're thinking as a narcissist. She will do whatever it takes. And her weight gain, especially in the beginning, the first alleged child, was right at the end. She did not gain any weight until she walked out holding whoever you want to believe they were holding. And she suddenly looked puffy around the face. And do you not think that she would be watching social media where people are kind of going, well, she's not gained any weight. And then she gained weight after the fact. Well, now I'm not saying that's not possible, but you tend to gain weight leading up. You know, your boobs get really big, you struggle, you waddle. There was none of that. You've only got to look at the pregnancy bump to see there were times when she sat down and it squashed right in. She was literally bending down effortlessly at 8 months pregnant with her knees together, squashing her baby bump. There is a picture, if I can find it, I'll put it up here, where she's literally looking at something and she's squashing her bump. That's just not possible. It's not a sponge, it's a solid form. It's there to protect. You know, baby bumps, yes, they can change shape, but they don't change shape where they go from being really out there to almost non-existent. That doesn't happen. Not in the world I live in. You know, so you've got the fact that he's mentioning the baby, not our baby, the baby. So what this tells me is what I have said all along is I don't believe that they had a surrogate. I don't. Purely and simply because, like I've said before, for the royal family to go along with a surrogacy, there would be no need to lie because it's not a huge thing. What they would probably come out with is Harry and Meghan have gone with a surrogate. That would have been easy, but they didn't. Now, I know that people have said that, yes, there was that tweet that come out from Kensington Palace that they used the surrogate. But again, if you're trying to hide the truth, as in Harry has got somebody pregnant, then he would then say the baby. Because if it was a surrogate child, saying the baby is detaching yourself from this. So you've got the baby and you've got the wedding, not our baby. Because if you were about to give birth to your child, you would say our baby. If this was about, say, Catherine being pregnant, then he still would probably say it in a more fondly way, like my nephew. Or so there's two plausible things here. He's either talking about Catherine and William's child, Prince Louis, in which case he's divulging something in an email that's private. So he's leaking information, and which is wrong. And it does make me think, well, actually, while I'm talking, what's the wedding? It's interesting how if Louis was born around that time, why was the wedding around that time? You know, could it have been to take away? Because we know that narcissists leak information. We know that she's done that. We know that she needs to grab the attention. So it's almost as if it's like, well, we got to take the attention away from Louis. We got to do this. But I'm more inclined to believe, like I've said before, that there was an Archie, but Harry got somebody pregnant and it become the baby. So we want this sorted before the baby is born, because it's very detached. This is not even as if it's my nephew or my brother's child is born. Before the child is born, it's the baby, which is detached. So this creates me to think that there's no way that she was pregnant. I know that people have said, well, this is why they rushed the wedding, is because she was pregnant before. No. Because again, Harry, in this moment, if you think about whether he's loved up or not, he still would be about to have a child with the woman that he's supposedly going to be married to. So this, I don't believe that he would be saying the baby. He would be saying before our baby is born, our wedding. But it's the baby, the wedding. It's very cold, very detached. So again, I believe that there was a baby that was going to be born, and it was potentially somebody that he's got pregnant. And I know that a lot of you are going to be like, that's a conspiracy theory. But like I said, for the royal family to go along, because even if there was a surrogacy, that still should not mean the child is in the line of succession. There's still a lie there. So the royal family were obviously probably duped, but when it come out, it was too late. So I guess they tried to do damage limitation and come out and say, you know, well, Meghan's obviously had to pretend that she's pregnant. And if you haven't seen my other videos, please go and watch them, because it does explain things a lot more. So you've got all of these leaks that are happening, and I think it's to do with her. She has been so desperate to be front and center. And when she realized that wasn't happening in the royal family, when she realized they started to see through her, and there's rumors obviously of her searching somebody's car, the things that have come out about her bullying Charlotte, the things that have come out about her trying to take pictures of the children. And I think that she had something going on the side. I think she was the one leaking. I think she was the one that was possibly trying to get information and sending it to whomever she was sending it to, whether it's to get money, whether it is to, she owed favors to. There was something going on, I believe, behind the scenes with her, where she was playing the game to infiltrate. And I think she was trying to get information. And I think a lot of that is about leverage. I think she probably did get some information. I do believe she's got something on Harry. That's why they never look loved up. It's all a pretense, and I will be talking about that on Wednesday. But so you have all of this, and I do think Omid Scobie was put in there to basically go after Piers Morgan, to throw him under the bus because of what he did to Meghan. This is what she does. She bides her time and waits for that opening to attack somebody. But she doesn't do it herself. She gets other people to do it for her. And Omid is such a lapdog in a way that his only bread and butter is really the connection he's got with her. And people have said to me, what is the connection? Why did he get where he is? Well, from what I have heard from people that have contacted me, he actually had a relationship with Marcus Anderson. They were in a relationship together. He was not really anybody. And he had this relationship, and Marcus Anderson has got connections. And then somewhere along the way, Omid, when he wasn't anywhere, and then suddenly, obviously, when Harry and Meghan started dating, obviously, as we know, Marcus Anderson is connected to Meghan. I think he is her. I think he helps her get connections. I think there is something untoward there. That's why she's always kept him in her corner. And that's why I think she needed somebody that was going to be trustworthy to her. And so, of course, along comes Omid Scobie. Isn't it interesting how she only ever uses her Miss Anne Harriman photographer whenever there's photographs of the alleged children? There's Omid Scobie that puts out statements about them. They only have specific people because they're almost in this bubble together. They all know each other's secrets, which is why Dory is in there. That's why nobody else is because these are people that can be bought. These are people that can be manipulated. And they all are in this together. I strongly believe that. And I think Harry got duped. I absolutely do believe that. I think he got roped into this. I think she manipulated it. She was telling him things like, you know, your family are leaking things. They're planting stories about me. And I think Harry's paranoia, she played right into Harry's paranoia with the press, and I think he wanted to believe her, and I think he did believe her, and for whatever reason he has stuck with that, believing that his family are the ones that have leaked information. Now, are they completely innocent? Probably not. I think every single person that's a high profile has probably done something untoward, but I do think it's her. I think she has been the leak from the beginning. And so, of course, then all this comes out and it's starting to break down because Omid Scobie is getting pulled apart. He's not a credible witness. There was another witness apparently who has been one of Harry's witnesses who apparently is threatening people behind the scenes to stick with their side of the story. So it's really starting to break down. And of course, in amongst all that, what they then home in on is, oh, well, William took a payout. But the difference being is that when the payout happened is that Harry left. That was around the Brexit, and then we had the pandemic. So it kind of all got sort of mixed in together. But in March 2020, he left. And so, of course, then this, obviously, Prince William was like, you know what, I just want it over with, which a lot of people do. And he got a payout. And a huge chunk of that went to Harry's Invictus Games, I believe, or another charity. But nobody mentions that. They're acting like a payout. Prince William got his payout, and that's like a huge thing. But what is going on here is that Harry is literally throwing his family under the bus again, blaming them for everything. And yet there are emails where he's literally lying. And then this email coming out about the baby. I don't believe that this was Meghan being pregnant. I don't. And I will categorically state here, I do not believe that this was the fact that she was pregnant before we found out she was pregnant. Because why would you need to hide it? You wouldn't. It's not a secret. It's not a thing. If she was pregnant when she was pregnant, so what? But if Harry had got somebody else pregnant, then of course they would have to rush the wedding because it would look bad. Of course Meghan would have to then go along with being pregnant, because with her being a narcissist, and I will add this as well because people have said there's no way Meghan would then raise another person's child. She's not raising another person's child. And also what you've got to remember is Harry isn't loved by Meghan. Meghan doesn't love Harry. She loves the idea of what she can have. And she was never giving that up. So even if in that moment, if the royal family thought that by Harry getting somebody else pregnant would maybe stop the wedding, which is possibly what would have happened, Meghan literally turned around and thought, opportunity here. I'm going to go along with it. And I'm going to go, you know what? I'm such a doting wife or fiance. I'm going to support you, Harry, in this. And I'm going to put myself out there and pretend to be pregnant for you. All the time she's there going, leverage, because I can use that at a later date. And why do you think that when we saw her, she was doing the moon bump flashes, which were really bizarre? The reason being, it was because she knew the media couldn't say anything. The media knew. If we knew, the media knew. But there's always been this underwritten rule with the royal family, this, I guess, the super injunction, whatever you want to call it, there will be something that it could not be spoken about. Why were there no records of royal doctors present at the birth? You know, the Pat walk in Canada, which I've said before, which was with a doll. It was because the child is in the UK. They never went over there with Archie because the child that was born is over here. And that's why he's gone the baby, because it was probably somebody he didn't have a relationship with. It was probably a one-night stand because we knew he was a player. And the reason then from all of this that I think that they want the IPP status is not because of security, for fear of anything. Because if that was the case, they wouldn't be in the public eye as much as what they are. Harry certainly wouldn't have written about the Taliban in his book and all the lies and everything else, and then them going to a war. He's not afraid for himself. He's not afraid of this whole Diana situation, because that's why he loves to bring this up. I think it's because they don't want the truth coming out. If they have IPP status, I believe, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but they are protected, not just within security, but they cannot be sued. They cannot, I think they have a lot of protection. And I think that's why they want it. I don't think it's anything to do with security. I think it's because they don't want any of the truth coming out of the lies and deceit surrounding their relationship and the alleged children. The more protection they have, the more the lie will go unnoticed. No one can do anything. And I think that's why they want it. So obviously this backfired because they then did this ridiculous thing in New York, which I think was, like I've said, was completely set up. And it backfired because New York has basically come out and said, not a chance. We're not, I don't know whether they thought that this was I don't know what they thought. They genuinely believed that they could do this and it was going to be credible. But too many people have come out and said no. I mean, obviously their fan base, because honestly, I don't think it would matter what Harry and Meghan, they could literally do something in front of their faces that was illegal and their fan base would still go, No, it didn't happen. They would still gaslight. And so I think, I think it fundamentally backfired. And because of that, I think they ruled against him and said no. Where this leaves Harry now, I don't know. I think the other court case, I mean, because he's got a few going on, because let's face it, that's all he can do now is just be incredibly litigious and sue everybody. But isn't it interesting that they've never sued Tom Bauer, they've never sued Lady C, they've never sued anyone that's come out and spoken about, say, these alleged, you know, when people like myself have come out, we're not getting sued. I mean, I'm not saying me because I'm small fry, but there are certainly larger channels that might have spoken about it. Although I know a lot of larger channels do not mention the children. Maybe because I'm a small channel, I can get away with it. But it's my opinion. They can't change that. I haven't said it's a fact. It's what I believe, which I'm entitled to think, as are you. So, yeah. So we shall see. We shall see. But let me know what you think in the comments, as always, guys, because like I say, I always love reading your comments and I enjoy the feedback that I get. So even if you disagree with me, it's absolutely fine. I really don't mind, even when people come in and say, you know, I absolutely believe she was pregnant, I don't understand. I absolutely don't mind those, but just be respectful, because if you're coming at me with a you're stupid, you're ridiculous, I'm going to delete those comments, because I don't want that here. You know, if you can't articulate something with a level of decorum, then it's a baseless argument, because you're attacking me personally. So if you disagree with me, which a lot of you can do, and I keep those comments there because you come at it respectfully, which I'm so grateful for. It's like, you know, respectfully, I disagree with you and this is why, or I don't believe that's true. Okay, absolutely. I don't pretend to be right. If it come out that I was wrong, then I'll be the first person on here to say, you know what, hold my hands up and I was wrong. So yeah, I learn a lot of things from you guys too. So don't ever think that you can't, because I do see some where they're kind of like, oh, I'm so sorry that I'm disagreeing with you. Don't be sorry. You have nothing to be sorry for. It is okay to come in and disagree with me. I am not omnipotent, you know, it's just me here on a channel talking to you guys, and if you don't agree with me, I'm okay with that, just as long as we can have a sensible conversation. So that being said, if you like this, then please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please think about doing so, because it does help the algorithm. Drop a comment below, even if it's a thumbs up, because that also does help the algorithm. The more comments I get, the more it shows YouTube that I am a valuable channel to keep. So yeah, especially given the fact that, like I say, the mainstream media seem to not want to talk about the truth anymore. So it's us YouTubers that hopefully try and bring the truth to you, or certainly give you a different perspective. Because like I know I talk about narcissism a lot, but this is kind of what this channel is about. And it's really important to me, it's a passion of mine to highlight and expose how narcissists behave. Because if it can stop somebody getting into a narcissistic relationship because they've seen a video of mine or even other people's videos, and it shows some symptoms and signs, and you're kind of like your radar's going off, then to me it's well worth it. If you haven't seen my other channel, which is now named Tea and Therapy because it is affiliated with my channel here, go across and watch that. That is going to be all about just mental health and therapy things. I probably will be bringing in some other celebrities to talk about, like the Philip Schofield thing that's going on. I think I'm probably going to talk about that one over there. So yeah, or here, don't know, I haven't decided yet. But yeah, so go and check that one out, because that also might help you as well. And in the meantime, I hope you are enjoying your week so far. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. All of my links are in the description box below. You can contact me via email. You can buy some of my bubble merchandise. You can join me on different various platforms. You can send me something in the PO box I've got below. Yeah, everything is there. You can also buy me a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, if you like this video and want to support. You can super chat, which so many of you have done. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. All of it goes to the videos that I do here. And also, as I always say, that I am helping people behind the scenes who struggle financially. So you are paying it forward, so to speak. And that's it. I will see you in Wednesday's video where I will be discussing their relationship and what my thoughts are on that. And so yeah, so please don't miss that one. And I will see you very soon. So take care. I love you. I appreciate you. But most of all, I respect you. Mwah. Bye.